Anybody has questions that they want to put in either the Facebook Live or, oh, I just got a question on, is now a good time to buy, on the Facebook live stream, and then any other questions in the Zoom chat.
So, you know, I mean, here's the thing. It's what you're deciding to buy for. If now is the time, is a good time to buy, if now for your life situation, it's a good time. And by that, I mean, things always change. So the old adage was the best time to buy real estate was 10 years ago. And the second best time to buy real estate is today. So the reality is that, you know, everybody's circumstances are different. Home ownership as soon as possible is going to be your best bet. Advocating or indecisiveness about home ownership is really going to be a detriment. Anybody who owns real estate can all probably look back at a time where they thought, oh, I was unsure and gosh, I really should have pulled the trigger then, because a lot of factors change. Here's the other thing about real estate. If you have the home that you're securing and you can afford it, regardless of what interest rates are doing, what prices are doing, if you can afford the payment, you have a way to get and obtain that house, and you feel like that's the right house for me, right house for my family, then it's the right decision. That's what you need to do. Here's the thing though, it's not like a car lot, and not to use car lots as an example because they don't have much inventory either, but the inventory is not readily available. And that's why sometimes when the opportunity presents itself, if you're able to exercise on that opportunity, then by all means, you should do it. So, you know, again, it depends. If you're an investor, maybe you're looking at some other metrics. But as far as your primary home, if the right home is available, absolutely. If you could afford it, make it happen.
Okay, I'll look through some other questions.
Any other questions here?
You said you have a KALEO agent in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So great question. That was Amanda on Zoom. Thank you for putting that in the chat. So Angela Denny is an agent with our office. She was actually, I believe, a producing agent for almost 10 years in the Knoxville area. She's also licensed here. And that's, you know, when I think of popular cities that people are moving to, I've actually personally been to Knoxville, Tennessee. It is a really nice place. It's very green. There's the, you know, University of Tennessee. There's, you know, a lot of different opportunities out there. And so we do have a KALEO agent there. You know, and all of the agents we have mentioned, Dan Colasanti, who's also in Murfreesboro, and Rex Rohr, those are agents that are actually, since they're licensed in different states, they have a different brokerage in that state, but you would be able to work, you know, with them KALEO here and then with their other brokerage out of state.
That's right. That's right. Dan Soika is asking, with Bill 1771, the tax penalty within the first 7 years, does the tax penalty reduce after the first 3 years, like year 4, 25? Okay, so some of that may or may not be. I don't have the direct answer for you, Dan. I do have this answer for you, in that 1771 is bad for home ownership. So regardless of the details, and in fact, this is something. When we go and legislate, I'm actually going to be gone in a couple of weeks up in Sacramento. There's certain things that we strongly oppose, and there's certain things that we oppose unless amended. This is a strongly opposed measure, so this is not something that we're even looking to negotiate. And there's stories to that I don't think we have time for. But this specific one, it's kind of, regardless of what the details might be, all of it's bad, and so we have a strong opposition to this bill.
And it is tied into, you know, it's incentivizing people to stay in a property longer. And something that's been a topic, I think, for several years now is inventory levels. So actually, when you're, you know, selling and moving out of state, you know, inventory issues right here, it's like when you put your home on the market here, it's like that's one more house for a buyer here, because not everybody is moving out of state. And this Facebook Live is not like a panic selling of, you know, everyone needs to move out of state. It makes sense to move out of state if it makes sense for your personal situation, if you have family, if you have friends, if you have a job, and there's this big motivating factor. But there's definitely still a lot of people living in Southern California and even moving into the state.
That's correct. Even moving into the state.
What is the forecasted home appreciation for this year?
It's actually been adjusted. So the most recent one got adjusted. I believe we're still forecasted for some appreciation, but I think we were at 10%, it's down to like 5% now.
So typically the California Association of Realtors, they release a housing forecast in about November of, so they did November 2021 for the 2022 year. A lot of different companies released their own forecasts, and what they did actually, and this is unique because they only adjust their forecasts when, you know, big economic or geopolitical things are happening. They revised their forecast this year because of what's happening in Ukraine and also gas prices. And so we aren't anticipating that prices are going to drop off, but what we are anticipating is a slower rate of appreciation. So home prices going up, but not quite at that steep pace that we were seeing in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, the frenzied appreciation for today's market has been stifled by inflation. Many of you know that we have 8.5% inflation, 40% year, a 40-year high for inflation. All those things have an effect. Obviously, mortgage rates have a huge impact, and we haven't had them as high as they are now for the last 4 years. But 4 years ago, pricing was a lot different. So all of these factors contribute to the slowing of appreciation, but it is hyper local. So if it is that right house in that right neighborhood, it probably will remain unscathed because the desirability for it is so high. The pool of buyers is there. However, certain areas and where there's maybe less desirability for property, less desirability for that particular neighborhood, and then you're dealing with maybe a different socioeconomic class as far as they're more stressed with the inflation on their household income, and those rates do impact them greater. There you'll see some more resistance to the market. You might see some prices really slow down in terms of those upward trends that we've been seeing. But again, it's hyper local. For Glendora, we're pretty strong. So I mean, it's not looking, if you're a seller, it's like it's a good time. But will things change, and how will things change? Well, we know they will change. We don't know how severely, how quickly. The general sentiment, it's much sooner than we thought before. So we've got 2 minutes left to wrap things up. Thank you, Alicia. This is very helpful. Sincerely. So if you got
other comments,
do we have more comments? And we'd love to talk to you in person. So any of you guys can reach out and give us a call or email us.
And I would say if there are certain topics, whether it's, Prop 19, if it's ADUs, if it's talking about specific states that people are moving to, if there are certain topics that would be useful to you that you want to see coming out, please reach out to us. Someone will respond to you. If you call in and say, hey, I have a suggestion for the next Facebook Live, I guarantee that someone will respond to that. But all in all, we really do appreciate everyone taking time out of their Wednesday evening.
Yes.
Everyone's probably tired by the day, but we appreciate you taking the time to watch this. We'll also have it recorded and available to you.
Yep.
And we just want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen.
And if you want a live performance, give us a call. We'll sit across your dining room table, your couch. We'll do a tour of your home, and we'll have this whole discussion all over again. It'll be fantastic, and I can't wait to hear from you guys.
So if you are considering making that move, I hope you feel like you've been equipped, that you know a little bit more than when this presentation started, and we thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.